The Day of the Dead, El Día de los Muertos. Last year, I tried escaping for a few days. You see, my sister passed away a few months before Halloween, and Halloween was her favorite holiday. I remember as children, us decorating and dressing up from head to toe. We looked forward to Halloween every year since we were little girls, all the way until we're all grown up. We would always plan many months before what we were going to dress up as and how we would decorate our house. At summertime last year, the tradition would have been no different. We were already discussing about the goblins and witches we were going to put outside of our houses. Until the end of the summer hit, and my sister was no longer with us. Her death caused sadness throughout my entire family. Soon after, the leaves started falling off the trees and Halloween decorations quickly started appearing. There was no way I was going to celebrate Halloween. Not that year, not the next year, not ever. On October 30th, the day before Halloween, I decided to escape from all the Halloween festivities and fly to Mexico for a few days. My flight was only a few hours long, so when the plane landed, I felt very relieved that I was no longer having to look at all the Halloween decorations that only reminded me of my sister. Later that day, I decided to go into the city and explore. Little did I know what I was about to see. The city was filled with skeletons, skeleton masks, food-shaped skeletons, and coffins. Although this might sound a little scary, it was actually very colorful, and the people were so happy, and everyone was dancing around. As I started looking around, I came upon a group of children dancing around and listening to a girl reading from a book. They were also all dressed up in skeleton costumes. I asked a woman next to me what they were doing, and she told me that the young girl was narrating a story. To narrate means to give an account or tell a story. She continued and told me that every year around this time, people put on shows, celebrate, and decorate for the Day of the Dead, which is on November the 2nd. The Day of the Dead, I thought. I couldn't believe that I was trying to escape from Halloween, and the place that I went to has an entire day decorated to the dead. I started to walk away when she urged me to stay and watch the play. The Day of the Dead has been celebrated for over 3,000 years by the Aztec civilization. Civilization is an advanced state of human society in which a high level of culture, science, industry, and government has been reached. The Aztecs believed that there was a spiritual journey a person would take after they died. Their journey depended on the way that they died. A person who died of natural causes would have a difficult journey through the 9 levels of the underworld. Someone who died violently would go directly to the heavens. Babies and little children lived in a place with an immense tree that fed them by dripping milk. The Aztec would celebrate the Day of the Dead because this was when the spirits would return to their families and friends still living on Earth. The spirits came back to see that all was well and to make sure that they hadn't been forgotten. Then the Spanish conquistadors came. A conquistador is an adventurer or conqueror, especially one of the Spanish conquerors of the New World in the 16th century. They brought the Catholic religion with them and tried to stop the Aztec tradition. But the traditions were too strong, so they blended the Catholic and Aztec traditions together to make it an interfaith tradition. Interfaith is of, relating to, or between different religions or members of different religions. That's why we celebrate the Day of the Dead today. Once the story was over, the lady took me by the hand and started walking me around the market to explain more about the tradition. She took me to a table that was very decorated with skeletons. All the skeletons were colorful, very decorated, and they looked so happy. Death doesn't have to be such a sad thing. The spirits are happy, and we are happy to celebrate them. So we intimidate the dead by putting happy faces in skeletons and dress up like them and dance all around. Our loved ones will return on November the 2nd, so we will decorate our loved ones' graves with beautiful flowers and candles. We also bring with us food and drink in case they are hungry or thirsty, musical instruments, photos, clothes, and many other things that reminds them of their life. Many people also decorate their homes in case their loved one visits them at their house. They decorate an altar. An altar is a usually raised structure or place on which sacrifices are offered or incense is burned in worship. The altars are filled with the same kind of things: food, drink, candles, happy skeletons, and things that they will remember of their life. After she told me this, I decided to make an altar for myself. The next few days, I spent a lot of time collecting items that reminded me of my sister. I bought beautiful flowers and even painted my own skeletons. By the time the Day of the Dead came around, my hotel room was heavily decorated. I spent the day watching parades, eating, and celebrating. When I went back to the hotel room and sat next to the altar I had made, I started feeling very happy. I knew my sister's spirit was there with me, and I knew she was very happy to see me and all the items I had collected for her. From now on, I no longer dread Halloween. In fact, I'm planning on returning to Mexico in a few days for the Day of the Dead to visit her again. I will celebrate that day, the Day of the Dead, El Día de los Muertos, for the rest of my life.